Guys. This is Miss Shipwash. I will not be at school this week, so just make sure if you need me, I will actually be online on the virtual team, if you're in virtual, or I'll be on the face-to-face team in the teams. So it'll either say F2F math, or it'll say F2, or it'll say virtual math. So if you need to get a hold of me throughout the day, I will be in there pretty much all day. You can hop in and join the live meeting, or if there's not a meeting, you can ask me a chat in the chat. But I won't be returning until hopefully next Monday, so I'll be gone the entire week. I know everyone will be great for the sub if you're there. If not, in your virtual, please work with me online so we can make sure we're all getting caught up and working on fractions. So I want you to take a note so you can use it on your assignment in a little bit, and then when I'm done, there'll be like a few problems for you to do. So make sure you have your journal out and you're taking notes. So we did this right before the break. We're going to add fractions with unlike denominators. So I want you to go ahead and write this problem down and press pause, and then when you're done writing, you can push play. So we have 1/2 plus 3/5. So if you remember, our first step was for us to write the common or the multiples. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And then for 5, we have 5, 10, 15, 20. Right? We are trying to find our least common multiple. So if we look at both columns on this side and on this side, well, the one that we have in common is 10 and 10, right? So we're trying to figure out, how can I make this bottom equal 10? What can I multiply to get from 2 to 10? So if I count, I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Okay, so 2 times 5 gives me 10. So you remember, what you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. So if we did 2 times 5 at the bottom, we have to do times 5 at the top. Okay. So if I just want to rewrite my fractions as I'm going, my first fraction is 5 over 10, and then we rewrite our addition sign. Okay. Now let's look at the next fraction. Okay. We're trying to get the bottom to equal 10. So 5 times what is going to give me 10? So I count by 5s. I have 5, 10. So 2 times 5 times 2 gives me 10. What I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So times 2 to the top is 6. So I have 5/10 plus 6/10. And then rewrite your equal sign. Okay. So we're trying to have the denominators to be the same. We want that bottom number to be the same. When it's the same, we just leave it alone, right? And then we add the top. So 6 plus 5 gives me 11. Okay. You should remember that we cannot leave my number like this. We cannot have a bobblehead. We cannot have a fraction with a bigger number on top. Sorry. So what we have to do is we can either set this up as a division. Okay. So we have our denominator on the outside, our numerator on the inside. 10 goes into 11 one time. 1 times 10 is 10. Subtract, we have a remainder of 1. So our fraction is 1 whole with 1 piece left over. Out of 10 pieces, our denominator stays the same, right? If that's confusing, you know that you have like 11 pieces, and if we had 10 pieces, that would be 1 whole. So 10 pieces is 1 whole out of 11, so we have 10 pieces with 1 piece left over. and then you have to just keep that denominator the same. Okay, since there's a 1 on top, I know that I don't have to simplify this. This was all I had to do. And then you'll just keep this answer. You'll never get an answer choice like A, B, C, or D in the test or anything like that, or even on like a matching assignment you're going to do in a little bit with a improper fraction, which means your bigger numbers on top. So make sure you're dividing it out or thinking about our pieces. Okay, you can also do the little dot trick if you want to help you remember to make your group. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11 pieces. You make a group of 10, since our 10 is our denominator, with 1 left over. Okay, so we'll just do one subtraction, 1, 2, okay? So remember, we've done this last week. We're getting good at this. Let's do a subtraction 1, 2. So we're trying to get our denominators to be the same. So we have 6, 12, 18, 24. Okay, at any time if you need to pause it, just make sure you're pausing it so we can write everything down. Okay, so we're able to write multiples of 6. 6, 12, 18, 24. And then we'll write our multiples of 2. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And we're finding our least common multiple. Okay, so this one has 6 first. And if we looked, this one also has a 6. So our 6 is our denominator. So both of our bottoms need to have a 6. Okay, looking at this bottom has a 6, and we're trying to make sure it has a 6. Well, we know 6 times 6, or 6 times 1 gives me 6. So then I have to multiply the top by 1. Because what I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So if I make the bottom a 1, the top also has to be a 1. Okay, so our new fraction is 4 over 6. Put your minus sign back. And then let's make the next bottom have a 6 as well. So we're trying to make this 2 turn into a 6. So 2, 4, 6. 2 times 3 gives me 6. Okay, what I do to the bottom times 3, I must do to the top times 3. So I have 3 on the top and 6 on the bottom. So make sure we write this down. Okay, we keep our denominator the same. And then we have 4 minus 3, which is a 1. We have 1/6. So we've gotten pretty good at that. So we're just going to add on to that. Okay. So let's say we have the same kind of fractions, but we also have a whole number with it. Okay, so this is 1 2/3 plus 4 5/6. Okay, what we're going to do first is we're just going to add our whole numbers. Okay, 4 plus, or 1 plus 4 is 5. Okay, so we added our whole numbers. We added our 1 and our 4, and we got 5. Then we're going to do our same process like we did before and add our 2 fractions. So we follow the same steps. Okay, we have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and 6, 12, 18, 24. So once we've added those 2 whole numbers, all we have to do is add our fractions, and we follow the same steps we've been doing. So we wrote our multiples, and then we find our least common multiple, which is 6 and 6. Okay? So let's look. We have 2/3 that we're trying to have a 6 at the bottom for. So 3 times what gives me 6? I have 3, 6. So 3 times 2 gives me 6. What I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So 2 times 2 is 4. So I have 4, 6. I'm just going to write it down here at the bottom. Put your plus sign back. And then we're trying to get the bottom of the next fraction to also be a 6. Okay? Since it's already a 6, we can just rewrite 5/6. Okay? So we keep our denominator the same. 5 plus 4 is 9. Okay. So if we put it up here, we have 5 and 9/6. Well, let's think. Okay? We said that there cannot be any improper fractions. There can be no bigger numbers on top, right? So we need to do the trick that we just did, where we can either divide and find our remainder, which is probably the simplest. So let's just do that trick this time. So I have 9 and 6. 6 goes into 9 one time. Multiply. 1 times 6 is 6. Subtract. We get 1 with a remainder of 3. Okay? So instead of 5 and 9/6, we have a 5 plus 1 with a 3/6. We keep our denominator the same. I'll write it big right here. Okay, so our 5 was from us adding the wholes at the beginning. Okay, and then right here, we just found that 3/6. Okay, instead of being 9/6, we turn it into 1 3/6. So we add our whole numbers. 5 plus 1 is 6, and 3/6. Okay, if you look at your answer, and this answer choice is not on your assignment, it's because we can still simplify this answer. Remember, simplifying is taking a fraction and like dividing it by some number that they both have in common by the same factor, and getting a more simple answer. So if we made a t-chart with 3 and with 6, so if you get this as your answer and you're confident in it and you're like, Ms. Shabash, why is it not there? It may be able to be simplified. So make your 2 t-charts and try to simplify it. Okay, if we forget and you're in the classroom, the anchor charts are in the board on how to simplify. So we have 3 is 1 times 3, and then that's it. 6 is 1 times 6, and 2 times 3. Okay, they both have a 3 in common. So we divide by 3, divide by 3, and we have 6 and 1/3. Or sorry, 6 and 1/2. My bad. And a fifth plus 4 and 2/3. So we need to combine our our whole numbers. Sorry. Okay, we have 3 plus 4, because this is a plus sign, is 7. Then I have 1/5 plus 2/3 left. See that? So let's write our multiples. So I have 5, 10, 15, 20. Then I have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So I have 15 and 15. So 5, 10, 15. 5 times 3 is 15. What I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So 1 times 3 is 3. So I have 3/15 plus 3 times 5 gives me 15. And then 2 times 5 is 10. So 3 plus 10 is 13, and then 15 stays the same. So I'm just going to put this back with my whole number, so 7 and 13 over 15. Okay, if this was an answer choice, you can see if it simplifies, but since I'm shortened with time, I'll just let you know that this one will not simplify, and that would be your final answer. Sorry. Oops, I wrote on this earlier. We'll do this one together, and then I'll give you a different one later. So we have 4 1/3 minus 1 3/5. So go ahead and write that down. Okay. When we subtract, sometimes it'll work where we can go ahead and add the whole numbers and then subtract the fractions just like we did with adding. Subtract the whole numbers and then subtract the fractions just like we did when we added. However, sometimes our fractions are, when we're taking them, we're getting smaller. It doesn't always work. It'll give you like a negative fraction and it does some weird stuff. So we just have to do a different strategy when we're subtracting mixed numbers like this. Okay. You may remember doing this when we were doing simplifying fractions. So you're going to take this mixed number and this mixed number and turn it into an improper fraction. So we have 4 and 1/3. So 4 times our denominator, right? We do whole times our denominator. 4 times 3 is 12. Plus my numerator right here is 13. And we do this whole number times denominator plus your numerator. So 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1 is 13. So I have 13 over 3 minus, and let's do it again with the other fraction. 1 times 5 is 5, plus my numerator, 3, is 8. So I have 8/5. Once I have my improper fraction, I can go ahead and make my multiples 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and then 5, 10, 15, and I have 15 and 15. So we just did this. We know 3 times 5 is 15. What I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. Oh, I'm sorry. So we have 13. I just rewrote what was on the bottom. Times 5. 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6. So I have 65 over 15. Minus 5 times 3 is 15. What I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top, so 8 times 3 is 24. So I have 65 over 15 minus 24 over 15. Okay. We keep our denominator the same. And then let's do 65 minus 24. 5 minus 4 is 1. 6 minus 2 is 4. So I have 41 over 15. We know that this is an improper fraction. We wanted to go back to a mixed number. So we just divide, right? 15 goes into 41. Let's check. 15 times 2. 5 times 2 is 10. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. So that's going to be the closest we can go. So 15 goes into 41 2 times. 2 times 15 is 30. Subtract, we get a remainder of 11. So my final answer is going to be 2 with a remainder of 11 over 15. Okay, so write all that down. That one was a little challenging. Your one on your assignment day is not going to be as challenging, so let's do a little bit more simple one. So let's do 2.5 minus 1 and 3/4. Okay, so let's make both of them a mixed or an improper fraction. So the whole number times the denominator, 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5 over 2, minus 1 times 4 is 4, plus 3 is 7. Okay, so I have 5 over 2 minus 7 over 4. We write our multiples. We have 2, 4, 6. Well, we see 4 and 4 already. So both of our denominators have to be a 4. This side's already a 4. This side's good. We just have to change our first fraction, 5 over 2, to have a 4 at the bottom. So 2 times 2 is 4. What I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. 5 times 2 is 10. So I have 10/4 minus 7/4 equals, we keep our denominator the same, 10 minus 7 is 3. Okay, that's how the problems on your assignment's going to look today. So this right here is going to be what your assignment looks like. If you're face-to-face, you should have this as a worksheet. If you're online, you can either solve it on here or on a piece of paper. All your answer choices, or I just want you to do this on the paper. If you're face-to-face, you don't need to cut and paste or anything. You could just solve it like right here, or you can get a piece of paper, you know where they're at, on the shelves. So what you want to do is solve them. First, show all your work, and then check up at the top. Does it equal 2 and 5/6? Does it equal 1 and 5/12? Or does it equal 3.5? Okay. If your answer choice does not equal one of those three, what you want to do is make sure to simplify it, make sure it is not an improper fraction, and go back. Every question should equal one of these three answer choices. If you have any questions or you need my help, you can ask a buddy in the class, you can ask the substitute, or like I said, I will be online for the face-to-face and the virtual kids through Teams. You can just send me a message, send me an email, or just hop in that virtual class if you need me. Hope this helps on your assignment.